And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Or should I say good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending on where you're tuning in from. Wait a second. Good afternoon. I'm so used. Anyway, my name is Nippon. This is the SW6 Cast, and I am joined today by my co host, Mr. Madball. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a bit under the weather at the beginning of the week, but that's all gone now. So I'm ready to rumble for the must-win game at the weekend.
Hmm. Yeah, every game is a must win or a must not lose now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the Liverpool game, I'm able to accept a loss if it happens
Um,
because it's
they
Liverpool.
might not be if they have won the league by then, they might not be um that what do you call it?
They might. Yes, I mean, I imagine the comment you were going to make is they're on the beach. They
Yeah.
they could be like that, but at the same time, I'm not going to count on that they definitely could be or could not be on the beach by that point. Um, I'm not. Liverpool is still a good team either way. So it's not a game I'm going to say, oh, if we don't win it, we it's an absolute disaster. I think as long as we get results, if we get a result in the Everton game, and then if we go and get a result in the Newcastle game, then the Liverpool game I can accept because I don't think any of the top teams that are fighting for that position, none of them are going to get perfect records, even if their games look relatively easy to some extent standard. Um, so you've got to you can expect everyone to drop points that a Liverpool. If we get 3 or 4 wins and then lose the Liverpool game, that is probably acceptable enough.
Mm.
Nipping you there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Camera
So
going
do
on it.
you think we will actually finish in the UCL places now?
Um, I'm not. I personally don't think we will finish in the UCL places at the as of right now, um, because we do have the hardest run in. I think Aston Villa also do have a tough run in. I think that people are not mentioning that their running is a little bit is reasonably tough as well. But and I look at the not. I think Nottingham Forest are the team to beat, which is why I think potentially the last day could be an absolute thriller. I'm gonna go carry on talking. I'm gonna close the door because there's a big helicopter outside.
Yeah. So, Chad, where do you think Chelsea will finish?
I mean, my guess is that they finish either fifth or sixth.
Mm.
Um, Whether we
Fifth.
get it or not, it could come down to the last day. Um, I mean, if we look at the games, I'm not
The
really.
game against Nottingham Forest will be crucial.
Yeah, I'm not looking at really Villa and not Villa. Sorry, Man City and Newcastle personally because I think they'll Newcastle maybe, but I think because they lost against Villa, Newcastle are maybe a bit more in the run a bit. But I don't know. I just personally think they will be fine. I mean, don't forget with Villa, they've got the semi-finals as well to navigate. So if they're also if they beat Palace, which is perfectly acceptable for them to do, they will be looking at an FA Cup final as well. So that's a period where players can get sidetracked a little bit. I mean, they're running. They've got Fulham, Bournemouth, Tottenham, and Man United. Now I know Tottenham and Man United aren't that good, but there is a place for them to slip up potentially. And then Fulham and Bournemouth are both good teams that can pick points off people. 100%. And we saw that with Fulham. They could have done it for us. And Bournemouth are, again, a good team. So the Villa haven't really got an easy match, I guess, depending on where Man United and Tottenham are at that point. I'm having a look at the Forest games. I think the Forest games, I think they've got Brentford in the period, or they might have just played them. No, they do have Brentford. So obviously Forest also have the semi-final. So that again, it's a thing of we'll see how they do from that. But obviously they've got Brentford, Palace, who just got 2 points off Arsenal last night. You've got obviously the Leicester game they should win, West Ham game they should win, and then it's the Chelsea game. So you can see Brentford and Palace is the games where you can see Forest dropping some points. But we are looking at other people to see how they do. We've got to get our results in order first at the end of the day, because there's been plenty of times in the last couple of weeks where results have gone favourably for us, and then we haven't got the result either. Realistically, it's such small margins at the moment. If we beat Ipswich and we beat Brentford, we would be sitting comfortably and going, we can afford a loss to Liverpool, we can afford a draw against Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, but now we can't say that. And I think we've got to take one game at a time. We can't be looking at Liverpool, we can't be looking at Newcastle, we can't be looking at other clubs, because Everton are the club in front of us at the moment.
We still have to play Newcastle.
Arguably, I'd say that's probably the hardest game, because the way they play is probably the worst thing we could be playing against right now. I mean, I just hope that they're on the beach enough, potentially, like with Liverpool, that they won't be paying attention so much, and we'll get something for it.
Well, this could be a really bad season if you're a Chelsea and a Man United fan.
Well, it could be a really good season it could be a fine season for Man United if they win the Europa League.
Yeah, but if they don't win the Europa League and Liverpool win the Premier League, and then if Arsenal win the Champions League.
Yeah, but I don't think Arsenal will win the Champions League for one. I don't think. Liverpool will win the Premier League, obviously. That's a given. And I think one of United or Tottenham will probably win the Europa League, unfortunately. Obviously, don't count out Bodo Glimt, because they're a great side. But I don't know. I just can't see one of them two not doing it. I mean, for us, I thought Frankfurt and Lyon were probably our best chances of stopping them. I think I can't remember who Tottenham actually have. I think they have someone. I think Man United have Bilbao, don't they? So I think Bilbao may help us out a little bit, but Bilbao are not the same team that they used to be. I don't know when it's gone, but I'll try and carry on talking. But yeah, it'll be a disaster if one of Man United and Tottenham are in the Champions League and we're not. But
not as disastrous as Arsenal winning the Champions League.
I mean, yes and no.
I stand by what I said in a previous stream. But they'd have to win it 3 times, and the Europa League 3 times to be more elite than us. I stand by what I said.
I mean, I disagree just because you could argue that they've won so many more Premier Leagues than we have that it probably evens out, or more evens in their favour.
48 Hondas or 35 Ferraris.
I mean, I'd say the Premier League is bigger than the Champions League, personally.
We can agree to disagree on that.
But what's easier to win? Nippon? Oh, he's gone. But I would argue that the Premier League is much more harder to win than the Champions League.
Fair, but still, when it comes to Europe, to truly eclipse us, they'd have to win it that many times. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I'd argue the Europa League especially is kind of pointless. I'd argue the weight of their
Okay,
Premier
the
Leagues
Champions League, they'd
overweights.
have to win it 3 times to truly
No,
eclipse us.
I think if they won it twice, they'd would well and truly eclipse us because they'd have the same amount of Champions Leagues and they'd have many more Premier Leagues than us, personally. I think I think if they win it once, they eclipse. We have nothing against them anymore, and it would just be saltiness from us to keep saying that and making that point. So I fully disagree on that point. I just hope they don't win it. PSG.
Well, like I said, agree to disagree.
I don't think they will. I think Barcelona will win both Champions Leagues, unfortunately. Despite
they've done us again, haven't they?
I don't want to get into that game. I really don't want to get into that game. But it is what it is. They're too good a team to have your star striker out, one of your best centre backs out, one of your best, arguably your best wide player out. So
again, football is all an opinion-based thing. Like you and I can have different opinions on this whole on UCL thing.
yeah. I mean, Nipper, do you think we'll get a result against Everton?
Not only do I think we'll get a result against Everton, I think we'll beat them.
Well, I mean, get a result is winning. A draw is not a result, in my opinion. But Everton is a must-win. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we'll win.
For me, every game apart from, I think if we went and beat United, beat Forest, beat Everton, and drew against Newcastle and Liverpool, then I think that's fine. I'd rather a win, of course, against Newcastle, but they are a great team. But I cannot accept at all not beating Everton, not winning against Everton at all. I cannot accept that. And if we don't win that game, then I think top 5 is over before we stop talking about it.
So a loss against Everton means means we have to just settle for Europa.
Yes, I think if we, I mean, I'd go that far as I would start every big player for the game against Djurgården or whatever their name is.
What are your thoughts on certain fans, and I think you know who I'm talking about, not being excited about Dean Huijsen if we get him?
I mean, I think he's a good player, and I think he would improve us. I think there are the conversation that I keep saying. I think for me, I think if you're not excited by Dean Huijsen on the stand face of it, I can go, all right, fine. Like he's a decent centre back, but I can understand why people would maybe be against it. What I fundamentally keep seeing on a lot of the criticisms is it comes across with the idea of Levi Colwill in the question of, oh, he's not better than Levi Colwill. Oh, where's Levi Colwill going to come in this?
Okay. Let
For
me
me,
let, let me ask them this question.
Colwill should be on a taxi to whatever club we can get him because he's useless. And I think
Um,
it's again
let
the same narratives of bias.
let me ask about these. If Levi Colwell is better than Dean Huijsen, why is he not getting offers from Real Madrid?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, I think that Colwill has not been good enough to start, and it frustrates me that he carries on starting. And for me, I think if the moment he gets dropped properly, I think he kicks off and hands in a transfer request, and I think that's why he starts every game because he's not good enough to start every game.
So in other words, Enzo saying, "Shut, keep your mouth shut."
What do you mean?
Like you're saying, if Enzo drops him, he's gonna throw his toys out of the pram and leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that. I think the only reason he's not getting dropped, I think, is predominantly because of that. Because he's made so many mistakes this season, and everyone has been literally every football player on the team has been dropped for mistakes at some point. There's not one player that you've seen, bar Cole Palmer, who's in a bad run of form, but I think we're sticking to it and trying to eventually he'll come out okay. We also think it's hard to drop Cole Palmer when he's so good, when he's shown to be so good. But every other player has been dropped for mistakes and whatever. The only other player that has never been dropped for mistakes is Levi Colwill. I mean, when I say mistakes, I mean consistent mistakes. You can make them, like Caicedo will make a mistake every now and then, but he doesn't get dropped because the mistakes are few and far between, and he's generally a good player.
I'm sorry. Why doesn't Enzo just say, you know what? If you want to
I
leave,
I
then
don't
there's the door.
I don't think this is an Enzo thing. I think it's the club thing. Particularly, I think that is also probably the same with why Sanchez generally. I mean, Jorgensen showed me against. I've calmed down on my idea of Jorgensen starting because how he played against Legia Warsaw, I was like, okay, now I can understand why it's not a question of them. Why maybe Sanchez does start because he looked terrible. He was terrible in that and made so many mistakes and looked exactly like Sanchez. So for me, I can understand why there's a preference, but I still do think there is not so much from upstairs, but more from the coaches who train the goalkeepers. I think are
Do you
putting
think
words in
we
for
will
Sanchez.
sign? Do you think we'll upgrade on our goalkeeper in the summer?
No, not at all. I don't think
Why
we touch
not?
goalkeepers. Why? Why would we get
Because
another goal?
Sanchez and Jorgensen are a bunch of scrubs, Matt.
But Nipim, we have 13 goalkeepers on the books. Why would you add a 14th?
Do either of them have world class potential?
What, do any of the 13 have world class potential? I don't know, but you've got 13 goal. We can't keep. You can't have 14 goalkeepers on the record. I mean, you can't have 13. 13's ridiculous. We need to get rid of at least half of them, either sold or on loan. And even on loan, it's like the ones that are going on loan need to be the ones that actually are ones for the future, like Penders, who are not ready yet, but will be in the future. And for me, Petrovic is an upgrade on all of our goalkeepers. He's shown that from going out on loan that he's improved massively, and I think coming into the squad would be pretty good.
Do you think
I
he'll
think
be sold for
I
pure profit?
and also I don't think there is any goalkeeper out. I don't think there are many goalkeepers out there that are actually world class. So to get a world-class goalkeeper, I'm going to ask who's your goalkeeper that's world-class that you're going to bring in.
Mike Maynard.
I don't think he's world-class.
Mm.
For me,
Jan
I'm going to
Sommer.
for me,
Wait, he's going to win he's going to win Serie A with Inter.
I'm going to list you 3 goalkeepers that are world-class, and even one of them I'm starting to backtrack on. Jan Oblak. Oh, I've just done the thumbs up. Jan Oblak, the Snake, which is the one that I'm saying I'm starting to backtrack on because I think his injuries have caught up with him a little bit.
And the third?
Donnarumma, maybe. Even then, I'm self-doubting myself. I don't think. I think we have. There are a lot of good. There are a lot of good goalkeepers out there, but I don't think there's any world-class goalkeepers. There goalkeepers. Goalkeepers are not what they used to. I mean, Onana. But the point about Mike Maynard, Onana looks really good in Italy. He's come to the Premier League and look how bad he is. Like, sometimes you've got to take away the point of, you got to look at the point of they are in a certain league that makes them look good. And even with the point of Petrovic, I'm a little bit nervous of the fact that it's the French league, but I didn't think he was actually that bad when he was at Chelsea before. So I would definitely. I mean, and this is not me saying we have to stick with Petrovic long term. I just think it's insanity to get a goalkeeper this summer. Let us get a centre back. Let us get at least one centre back in. Let us get a striker in. Let us get probably a left back in. Settle that down. And if next summer you want to upgrade the goalkeeper, fine. After you've sold Kepa, after you've sold Sanchez, after you've had a bit more of a decent look at Slolina and Penders. Obviously, the other goalkeepers are predominantly youth goalkeepers and goalkeepers that are too young. So, and Bettinelli that is not going to be here, but Bettinelli needs to go. But once you strip them goalkeepers down to 6, 7 tops, I don't want to entertain getting another goalkeeper in, especially when there are positions that I think you need to fill more. I'd rather you get a centre back in, and maybe another centre back on top of Dean Hoysden if he comes in. I want you to get a striker and at least one. I need you to get potentially a winger, if not 2 strikers. And I'd say a left back is more important than a goalkeeper. And when I say a left back, I mean a backup left back, not starting quality.
Do you think we will try and go for Theo Hernandez?
No, because I
Why
think Theo
not?
Hernandez will want to start, and I think Cucurella is good where he is. I think we just need someone to maybe challenge Cucurella, but ultimately not.
Lucas, Theo Hernandez will be the challenger.
No, but Theo Hernandez will want to start. I think Theo Hernandez is not going to leave to come sit on the bench for Chelsea.
So if we sign Dean Huijsen, wait, do you think us signing Dean Huijsen is a red flag because suddenly Real Madrid have dropped their interest?
I think Real Madrid have dropped their interest because I think the player wants to play in the Premier League. I do think Dean Huijsen will want to play for Real Madrid one day, which is why I'd give him a huge long contract and a release clause that is acceptable for Real Madrid to pay and acceptable for us to let him go.
Okay, well, why not just tie him down until he's in his late 20s? Like, you know what?
But
There's your contract. You're not going anywhere.
That's why I said put him on a 7-year contract at least, because that at least ties him down to his prime, and Chelsea can negotiate. I think they'll negotiate a release clause in there.
Okay, and
That
say
will
if in
activate.
7 years They say we want to go for a younger centre back. He's too old for us.
Who, Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Then fine. If he's good enough, he'll get another offer. Like that's how I think he'll look at it. And I think he'll look at it, he'll be better by then, so he'll pretend Real Madrid be even more interested. But you have to wait and see. I mean, I am sceptical of how much he was looking at Real Madrid before. And that is probably my one scepticalness about him, apart from his age. I do think I would like to bring in another experienced head in that defence.
But look
Particularly
at what
because
experience has done to us. We bought experience in Nkunku. We bought in
I
experience
wouldn't say
in
Nkuku was an experience.
but he was seasoned. Look at what the numbers he was putting in the Bundesliga. We bought in Tosin over
Who I think,
25 again.
yeah, but I think Tosin is a good centre. Tosin is probably our best centre back at the moment. Fit.
You know, speaking of fitness, I'm surprised Reece James has lasted as long as he has.
Um, yeah, well, I think he's being managed quite well. But and yeah, I mean, Reece, he's been managed quite well, and he's doing well in terms of not being injured, but he's not always been good in games, and I think he needs to improve his performance as well, because yeah, I've not been impressed in some aspects, and I'm not going down. I don't want to go down this stupid debate of, oh, Reece James is being negated by Maresca and all rubbish like that. That mistake at the weekend against Fulham was nothing to do with positioning. It was just stupid. It was a stupid error, and it's not the first time he's done that this season. So he also needs to up his performances. But going back to Tosin, like Tosin was always brought in as a player that, well, one, it was an opportunity because he was on a free. So you jump at that if you have the opportunity to. Two, I think he was always brought in to be the backup. You think of like Gary Cahill when you had David Luiz and John Terry, and you knew Gary Cahill wasn't quite good enough to be starting quality, but he was a great centre back to have as a replacement. And I think Tosin is a good centre back. Problem is, we've relied on him. We've had to try and rely on him too much because our starting centre backs is why we've been injured or crap. So
Let me guess,
I
you were
think
referring to Fafana and Colwill.
Fafana, Colwill, Badiashile, Disasi, all referring to all of them. I mean, Disasi less because I think we always knew Disasi was a bit of a on the fringes a bit more in the summer. But yeah, I mean, I think when I say experience, I don't mean get experience for the sake of getting experience. I mean get the right person in a centre back.
Do you think we
So
will, though?
people
Or
people
do you
keep
think...
people keep making the point. Oh, let's get Jonathan Tah because he's experienced. No, Jonathan Tah is crap. Absolute crap. I'd rather you get 19-year-old Dean Hoysden than go get Jonathan Tah, who's experienced, yes, but he's not a good centre back at all. So you need to get someone that is seasoned. And
What
I
about
actually
Pau
think
Torres from Aston Villa?
I think Pau Torres is a decent option. I still think Mark Gay will be an option that we look at.
You know, a lot of people are turning their heads up at him.
I understand why people turn their heads up, but I personally think he is a good centre back. I think he's probably England's only good centre back, personally.
Cue all the usual suspects coming in to abuse you.
That's fine. They can abuse me. I have my opinion, as do they.
I think you know who I'm talking about. Do you know that person? Check the private chat. This was about an earlier on thing. Do you know this Twitter account?
Yeah, I unfortunately know that Twitter account.
I cannot stand him.
Yeah, I don't block people because I just don't. I'm not really against blocking unless it's like you're actually just abusing me. Um, but he's one person I look and just like, if I was to block people based on just them spouting absolute nonsense, he would be one of them people. But yeah, I'm not gonna say the account on stream because I'm not gonna call people
That's
out.
why I
But
put it in the private chat.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, nipping, I would get 1 to 2 centre backs, which would be Dean Hoysden, and then either Gurhey or an out of the box situation, out of the box situation we haven't seen yet. At left back, I would get Maxime de Kuiper from Club Bruges, who is a fantastic left back that I think you can get for about 25 million, and is young but also seasoned enough. I would go for up front. Probably, I think Liam Delap will be the option. I personally prefer Gokares, but I think it will be Liam Delap. I do not want Sesko. I do not want Ekate. I will only take Jonathan David as a backup striker, not a starting striker. And then at left wing, if we're going to go for a left wing option, I think either maybe Nico Williams. I'm still hesitant on the wage because I think he wants a lot of money. I don't know how willing Chelsea are to pay that. Otherwise, I'm really struggling with left. The options that we've got, I think Jamie Bino Gittins is it would be a good backup, but I already think we've got the backup in Sancho. I think we need a starting winger on that left side. I've heard I keep seeing the rumours of Rodrigo. And I think we'll have to sell people like Madueke for that. But I think he'd be a good option to have as a wide player to bring in. Otherwise, I don't know the left field option. But yeah, that would be my window or my preferred options from the people that we've been linked with. I'm not gonna go into dream window. I mean, we haven't been linked to Maxime de Kuiper, but we haven't been linked to really any left backs yet properly. And I think left back's such a situation that unless we've already got someone in, unless we're going to promote Caleb Wiley very early and bring him in, which I think is just, I don't think he's done enough to prove himself to be a backup left back yet. Or we've got someone in the academy that is going to come up and do something. I just think that a left back is needed.
Do you think we're going to have a sub-par transfer window in the summer?
We'll have to wait and see. The last summer, for me, the summer we've just had was subpar. Big up DJ Sav. Overall, I think there were signings that looked to have potential that either haven't worked or they've just gone out on loan in January, which is annoying. So I think this summer needs to be a good summer. Will it be a good summer? We'll have to wait and see. I think to some fans' expectations, it's never going to be a good summer. But we'll have to wait and see. I honestly don't know. I think for me, if we don't get the top 5 this season, I think the sporting directors for me will be under pressure. Well, they'll be under pressure from me because I think they're the ones that I think we need to chop the head off of. Not literally, I mean metaphorically.
Please don't get any odd job ideas, okay?
No. Winstanley and Stewart can keep their.
If you know about James Bond, you will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they can keep their heads literally. I just mean metaphorically. They probably need to go from their jobs. But I think not having Champions League will massively affect. I don't think Liam Delap comes if we want Champions League. I don't think Gokares comes if we don't have Champions League. I think Jonathan David is realistically the option you get if we don't get Champions
I
League
don't mind.
as
I
a
don't
start.
mind Jonathan David.
I don't think he's good enough to be a starting striker personally. But
Have you seen the numbers he's been putting up in League
yeah,
One though?
yeah, I think
He's
Jamie
been
Bino.
competing for the golden.
I think
I
Jamie
think there was
Bino.
a season. There was Matt. There was a season in which he outscored the current number 9 at Real Madrid.
I think he produces good numbers, but I think when I look at him at the eye test, and I've watched Jonathan David in Belgium, I've watched Jonathan David in France. I just don't think he will be good enough for the top level. But
I mean, he outscored Kylian Mbappe in quite a few, and not just once, in quite a few seasons.
no, but that is fine. I'm not denying the stats. I'm just not. I just think it's not. It's easy to look at stats and be completely judged on a player. It's when you actually watch the player in person is when you get the full idea, and you
How
can
about
use
let's
that.
just go for age and experience and just go. When does Lewandowski's contract expire?
I don't know, but I don't think he'll have the legs for the Premier League anymore.
Well, Harry Kane isn't exactly fast,
No,
and he's approaching his mid 30s.
yeah, but he's not in the Premier League anymore.
Well, okay, Jamie Vardy. He
Yes,
was
but he's not. He doesn't put up. He doesn't put up the numbers that he did before.
um Leicester. He's playing for a subpar Leicester City.
I mean, Leicester, apart from a couple of seasons, have always been subpar with him. I don't think he's putting up the same numbers as he used to, which is fine. He's 38 years old. I don't expect him to put up the numbers, but I just don't think Lewandowski um,
Go.
will have the legs, and I think that's why he plays in Spain. That's why he didn't move to the Premier League when he could have.
DJ, if you're still in the comments, you're more than welcome to join the panel.
But yeah, that's all I've got to say on that.
Do you think why would you not want KDB? Like, come back, the whole coming back to Stamford Bridge story after leaving.
I've never said I didn't want KDB.
Did you not say that in a few days ago?
I don't think I did. I mean, I'm gonna double check now because
And not on Twitter.
yeah, I'm going to WhatsApp because I assume that's where I potentially said it.
Yeah.
If I have said that, then I don't know.
Would you want him? Like, say we just get him on a free as an experienced head.
If the wages are right, then yes.
How high do you think his wage demands would be?
Um, well, he's a player. This is probably going to be one of his last contracts. I mean, nip it. I'm on the 13th of April, and I can't see anything. So I call ball crap. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'm probably
I
imagining things. Sorry
I
about
think
that,
I
Matt.
think Kevin De Bruyne would be a seasoned professional that would work and bring in. I think I have said, and this is probably where you think I've said stuff. I've generally said I don't think we need to get another midfielder, bar
But
a
it's
destroyer,
KDB.
bar a physical destroyer. But KDB negates that. I still find the problem with if KDB comes in, you have to get rid of someone.
Who do you think the sacrificial lamb will be if we get KDB?
Well, I think so for me, I look at it as Enzo and Santos are the two like-for-like players. Lavia, Asugo, and Caicedo are the like-for-like players in that position. Estavio, Palmer are the like positions, and Paez, but I think Paez will go on loan anyway. Will be the like-for-like players in attacking midfield. Depends on where you want De Bruyne to play. Is he going to play in the midfield in the Enzo role? Is he going to play in the attacking midfield role?
Attacking midfield.
So then you need to either loan. You need to either get rid of some wingers or loan Estavio out. I think you will see Lavia potentially go out on loan or Asego go out on loan. Because I think while Santos isn't a defensive midfielder necessarily, I think he can do that job if required. And I think KDB will fill in on the Enzo role / attacker midfield role. I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll start week in, week out anyway, because I think he'll get injuries, of course, because Kevin De Bruyne in his prime got multiple injuries this season. But I also think he is at the end of his day, so I think he will be that player that plays every now and then, probably plays in the games when you need him, in the
Or
bigger
maybe just
games.
bring him in as an experienced head. Like
I
to
think
bring.
if he comes in, that's what it will be. I don't think he'll start for Chelsea.
Do you
Because
think he'll be okay with
I think
being on the bench, though?
there are many things bad about this Chelsea side, but the midfield isn't one of them.
DJ, if you want to join, here's the link.
But will he join if he's not starting? I don't know. I don't know what options he's being given contract wise. I imagine most of the options probably are Saudi like options. So I think it's up to him whether he wants to play out there or whether he wants to come back to Chelsea, or I guess maybe someone like a Juventus might want him. I don't know where else he goes. Maybe
Probably a
Barcelona.
retirement league.
That's what I mean. I don't see where else he goes. Maybe in MLS, but I think maybe Chelsea might be he might just be like, I want to be at Chelsea for a year and then go next summer to Saudi or MLS or whatever. I need to go to the toilet, so cover while I go.
Okay. So, DJ, would you want KDB back? He is on a free.
All right, I'm back, my friend.
Hello.
Did you just stay silent that whole time that I was gone?
No, I asked DJ Savs a question. I would take back KDB. Yeah, pretty much what we were discussing.
I mean, yeah, the wages being too high is why I think it probably won't happen. Personally, unless it's a thing of he's willing to cut wages for a year and then go elsewhere after. But I do agree with that. The injury record, I'm not concerned too much because I don't think he'll be a starter for every game. I think he'll be a player that's managed and played in certain games when we want him and need him. And also, I think we do have a lot of midfield options. So hopefully that won't be a problem.
Look, even if he doesn't play, he can still be like next to Enzo Maresca, not Fernandez,
Yeah, and I
as
think
like a motivator in the dressing room.
And I think someone like Palmer continuously learning off him would be beneficial, and that Estavio and people like that.
Mm. So, everyone, leave a like, DJ. If you haven't already, leave a like on my video.
Yeah, hit the like button, guys. I'm gonna try and.
Still stuck on 784 subs. I'm still waiting to get to 800.
Go on, guys. Get nipping to 800. But yeah, smash the like button, subscribe, do all them things, and then listen to me spout absolute nonsense for an hour or however long it's going to be. Nippin, so what's your prediction for Everton?
Oh, it's going to be an exact game.
Oh God, no! Please, no! Don't do that to me, Nippin.
3-2 to Chelsea.
It was 3-2.
One of the wingers in the last kick of the game.
Fulham wasn't 3-2 though.
No, 2-1. But it's going to be in a similar close call.
Oh, I don't want last minute stuff. Just Chelsea get the job done easy, and then I can go home with actually a heart that works.
Are you going to that game?
No, I'm not going to the game, but I mean, I can go home for the pub. I'll probably be in the pub watching it.
Do you not have a TV at home?
I don't have BT. I assume it's on BT because it's a 12:30 kickoff.
Oh, I go to my local golf course to watch games which are on BT.
Yeah, so I will go to my local pub. Which actually, no, it's not my local pub because my local pub only has Sky, which is ridiculous. So why? But yeah, so I will find my local-ish pub that has the game on. But yeah, I want this game to be as smooth and easy as possible.
You know, when Pedro Neto scored, I was more like a thank God he scored rather than I was not as ecstatic as a lot of other fans. I was like, oh my God, thank God he scored rather than yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was not watching the game, so I can't say what my reaction was. I just when I saw that we were 2-1 and saw it, I was like, "Fuck yes, get in there!" Like that's basically what I did. In the cinema as well. At the end of the film, not during the film, which is why I didn't watch the game.
Nice. Which movie did you see?
The Penguin Lessons.
Never heard of it.
It's got Steve Coogan in. It was a pretty good film. A bit sad, but depends on what you like in movies, I guess.
Well, my movies. Well, I'm more of a franchise person. Harry Potter, James Bond. Well, those are my two go-to franchises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a new film. My girlfriend was like, "Oh, I want to watch that because it's got a penguin in it." I was like, "Okay, fine." And then, of course, she books up a time when the Chelsea game's on. So, well done to my girlfriend for that. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to cover, Nippon?
Early insight to the summer transfer window. Who, who do you think we will get if we don't get UCL football?
I think Jonathan David to be
That's
the striker. I still think Dean Hudson still might come in. Maybe.
Alex Isak.
No, we don't get Isaac if it's not Champions League. I think it'll be the two options will be Etike and Jonathan David if we don't get Champions League. I think the winger options, I think you probably will get Jamie Bino Gittins. You can kiss goodbye to Kevin De Bruyne if we're not in Champions League. Left back, you could probably still get a Maxime de Kuiper if we're not in Champions League.
Is this Maxime de Koiter French?
No, he's Belgian.
Pau Torres, maybe?
It's actually De Kuiper if you're going to be if I'm going to be a bit of a snob on the translation, but yeah.
What about Pau Torres? Is there any way we can get him?
No, because if Villa are in the Champions League, why would he move?
Ah, fair enough.
That's
What
what I mean.
about that other Villarreal player? If we need a striker, Moreno.
Gerard Moreno. Oh God, Nipping. You're going back to like 2019 for strikers now.
Do you think he'll end up, like, say if he joins us, will he end up becoming a Morata 2.0?
I just don't
Or a
think he'll be.
Diego Costa 2.0?
I just don't think he'll be a good striker. I don't know if he'll be Morata, but yeah, I just don't think he'll be a good striker.
Morata was shit, though.
He was.
Let me see his goal tally this season.
It's probably all right because he's a striker, you know, but
Moreno. Goals this season. Oh my god! I take everything I said back about Gerard Moreno.
is it that bad?
Do you want take a guess how many goals he scored in
10?
La Liga this season?
10?
Nope.
5?
No.
I'm concerned. Well, I'm not
He
concerned.
has got a grand total of 3 goals. Oh my God.
Gerard Moreno has broken Nippon.
And I said I wanted him. Well, having said that, maybe, since the sporting directors clearly are allergic to goal scorers, having said that, they probably see it, yeah, perfect, he's for us.
Yeah, Nippon, you've said the wrong thing now. They're not going to listen to anything I've said. They're just going to listen to Gerard Moreno. Oh, thanks, Nippon.
But, the sporting directors don't like strikers who score.
Like, to be fair, Gerard Moreno's his age bracket's too big.
He's 33.
Exactly, it's too much. No, he needs a 2 instead of a 3.
But look, what's his name? David Ornstein said that Clear Lake are getting rid of the.
We'll see if that actually happens.
Do you think it will? Or do you think David Ornstein is getting the fans' hopes up yet again?
I think it's it's something that the ownership can say very easily to make fans happy as they go towards the beginning of the transfer window. But it doesn't mean they can go, well, we considered it, guys, but doesn't mean we're going to do it. I can consider getting Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, and Neymar, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
Wage demands
I can consider throwing this phone onto the floor and stamping on it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
Why would you even consider it?
Well, I'm just making. I can consider nipping. I can consider transferring you £10,000 right now. That will make you very happy. Doesn't mean I'm actually going to do it because I haven't said I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
But we'll have to wait and see on that. Anything else you want to do before we go? Because I do kind of have to go a bit earlier than I wanted to.
I think we've looked into summer. We've looked into.
What would be your starting lineup, Everton? Before we go,
Just everything with the kitchen sink.
so
Like
I
just
would.
throw all the big guns in.
Well, I would go Sanchez, not Sancho in goal. That would be maybe slightly of an upgrade on Sanchez, but so Sanchez in goal. The back four: Cucurella, Colwill, Chalobah, I guess, Reece James, Caicedo, Fernandez, Palmer, Neto, Madueke, Jackson.
Spanish Loris Karius. Yeah, Robert Sanchez. Jackson, Tosin, Fafana, Cucurella, Lavia, Enzo, Palmer, Neto, Sancho, and unfortunately Nico Jackson.
I like how you say it, unfortunately.
Yeah, because he can't score for Toffee.
Yeah, but who else you going to put up front, Nippin?
Oh, how about that academy guy who scored
Tyreek George.
Yeah, him.
I mean, he's naturally a winger, but if you want to put a winger up front, fine. But I mean, I'd consider starting Tyreek George on that left side potentially.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it will happen.
Do you think we sign Osimhen if we get UCL?
I just don't think the wage problem is going to change.
That wasn't that more to do with his agent than Osimhen himself.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
It was more of an agent thing. Because what if Osimhen has a more reasonable demand with his new agent?
If he has if the demand is more reasonable, then you can consider it. But I don't see it happening. So that's the point where we're stuck.
Yeah, I guess. So, before we wrap up, where can people find you, Matt?
So they can find me on Twitter at MattJBall98. You can find me on the Blue Code Project podcast on Spotify and Apple. You can find me on the Chelsea Perspective membership section. I did a few videos on Monday. So you'll see them come out at some point this week and maybe next week and maybe the week after. And then you can also find me on the Wentzamo Kings Meadow podcast, which I will be on tonight at 8 o'clock. So you can check that out. It'll be on Spotify after, but you can also join their Patreon and join Mixler, which is a live streaming process where you can listen to it live as we're doing it. So yeah, check me out.
And you can find me on this channel, NS Sports TV. You can also find me on the British Lifestyle Blogger, my second channel. You can also find me on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Nipun Sharma. You can, and yeah, you can also find me as an occasional cameoist on Worldwide Shells. Go subscribe if you haven't already. You can find me as another occasional cameoist on Football Carnage TV, ran by the Big Six's very own Liverpool correspondent, Grizz Khan. And with that being said, I shall see you all in the next video.
Big up to everyone.
Big up.